kind of feel like I need to pose with my Raptor, like this, Captain Morgan style. Now, in my office is a very old printer. I actually bought it shortly after I opened my car dealership nearly 10 years ago. And when I closed my car dealership many years ago, because I was the worst car dealer ever, I kept it, I brought it home, and I still use it despite the fact that the ink cartridges, the replacement, cost more than a new printer itself. It's ridiculous. But that's like most things we buy nowadays. They're designed to be disposed of every few years, and that planned obsolescence, that throwaway engineering is permeating into much more expensive things like phones and even cars. And I'm gonna have to change my pose before I pull something. Now, this giant thing behind me may not look like the most environmentally friendly thing in the world, but my 2012 Ford F-150 Raptor should be held in the same esteem among tree huggers as Greta Thunberg, because this thing is built to last forever.
How dare you!
It is. After months of work, my Raptor restoration is completed. For those who haven't been following, I bought this really beat up Ford Raptor. I actually traded it for another car, but I ended up spending in trade about $7,000 to own this Raptor, making it the cheapest Ford Raptor in the USA by a lot. And shortly after taking delivery of it, we discovered that this Raptor was formerly owned by the US Border Patrol, which explains why it was extremely beat up and it had weird features and less options that are normally offered in civilian Ford Raptors. This gave me the idea to restore this Raptor back to its full Border Patrol glory with a twist. And now that it's finished, I can give you a full tour of everything that I've done. So one of the first things I did with this Raptor is restore its Border Patrol livery, but with a twist. As you can see, it doesn't say Border Patrol on the back anymore. It says Hoopty Patrol. And since I call my collection of cars the Hoopty Fleet, this seemed like a natural name to give the truck. But I didn't want to over-restore it because this truck has so much character. You can see it has so many bumps and bruises from its years of service with the Border Patrol, but I did want to restore it. That's why there's green stripes here. But we went quite a bit further than what the Border Patrol originally did with this truck. They installed this front grill guard, obviously, because they're hitting things. They're going off-road most of the time. Just look at the hits this bar has taken. This is some really thick metal, and it's got some big dents in it from who knows what. When I got this Raptor, though, this front bar was the only thing left from all the modifications done by the Border Patrol. I actually got reached out by an outfit called Off-Road Alliance, and they sent me a bunch of things to restore my Raptor to its former glory, and then some. And as I was driving this back from my mechanic, the Car Wizard, people were reluctant to pass me, probably because they were a little concerned I was law enforcement because of the light bar, which is up here. I didn't have it on, but still, it's kind of intimidating. The lighting system itself is really cool. Allow me to demonstrate. Ford envisioned that most Raptor owners would be adding things like light bars and other off-road accessories. That's why they offered this auxiliary switch system from the factory to where you can add things, anything you want, which is what powers all of my lights. In addition, the Car Wizard installed these switches here for my front light bar, and this folds up and down the rear lights on my roll bar. So as you can see, it is quite a sight, this thing all lit up, and my sun on the front bumper is super bright. It's absolutely hilarious, but also Off-Road Alliance sent me a lift kit in these wheels so I could fit 35-inch tires on this thing, which just completes the picture. In addition, this giant roll bar just really looks the part, and they also gave me this bed management system, which would enable me to install this murder weapon that they gave me, a shovel with a pointy stabby end, and then once you kill whatever you were going to kill, you can bury it. The box in the bed was left from the Border Patrol as well. I forgot to mention that. And also, I forgot to mention inside of here the siren system, which is absolutely ridiculous. Sirens. I have 5 siren settings. Very loud. Very loud. And a honker. And as I discovered with the Car Wizard a few weeks ago, one of the sirens is designed to disperse crowds to scare them away with the most annoying sound in the world. Goodness gracious. There's also a PA system if I want to make the most annoying sound in the world myself. So this truck is a ridiculous monument to my stupidity, but you have to admit it is pretty cool. And in addition to all these accessories, because this thing was so beat up and used by the Border Patrol, it also needed a lot of work. Some of the bigger items were the transfer case, which my friends at J&J Auto Wrecking provided me with a used transfer case for free. So thank you so much, J&J Auto Wrecking. That was replaced along with the front differential mounts, which were destroyed. In addition, there were a lot of wiring issues to figure out. The rear doors, they didn't open from the inside because they used to haul detainees back here. So it was a pretty long laundry list of things to fix, which the total bill was almost $4,600 from the Car Wizard. And when you add that with the tires that I bought and the stickers and all that, I've doubled my investment into this Raptor. I'm basically $14,000 into it. But now that I've spent all of that, I have a perfectly reliable, usable vehicle that I could put back into service right away. Even though this thing has endured the most extreme abuse possible, it seems to be thriving, like it was built to last forever. Sadly, many new cars aren't like this anymore. They're just not built to last. In an effort to make their offerings more fuel efficient and environmentally friendly, Ford has made a lot of mistakes recently. The ones that come to mind immediately are like the Ford 7.3 Power Strokes when they transitioned from that great engine to the 6-liter Power Stroke, which was much smaller and more efficient and less overbuilt. Owners reported head gasket failures left and right. It was a constant problem. And owners had to seek out aftermarket suppliers to bulletproof those engines. The head bolts would fail, the EGR system, all that. It was just a disaster, and they were stabbed in the back twice because of the rapidly diminished value because of this really widespread problem. Also, who could forget the Ford 5.4-liter V8 with its variable valve timing, multi-valve, complicated system to get more power and fuel efficiency out of their V8, and it was a total disaster. The cam failures would eat themselves and destroy the engine, basically totaling out the truck. And perhaps the most publicized failure in Ford's attempt at efficiency engineering is the dual clutch transmissions in the Ford Fiesta and Focus. That got those little cars without hybrid systems to go over 40 mpg, which is really impressive, but the transmission itself was a total disaster. It was so bad it prompted a class action settlement for the unfortunate souls who were stuck with those terrible cars. Building cars isn't the most environmentally friendly process. It requires a lot of natural resources, obviously. So when a car isn't built to last, isn't built with longevity in mind, MPGs really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. With this Raptor, it was built with very little efficiency and environmental concern in mind. Rather, it was built to be the most durable off-road vehicle ever, basically, and it was built really to last forever. Under the hood is a 6.2-liter V8 that is a total dinosaur. It's a single overhead cam, just a giant engine. It doesn't have any complex multi-valve system or turbochargers to give it more power and more efficiency. It's just a big lumpy V8 that has held up really well after almost 160,000 really hard miles with the Border Patrol, and it shows no signs of stopping other than a slight exhaust leak that I need to fix. Based on how well this thing has held up under extreme abuse in its former life and how strong in general resale values are with Raptors because they are so good, it's safe to say these trucks will have a very long, infinite lifespan. Yes, live. Big V8. This Raptor's classic KISS method, keep it simple, stupid method of building a car, it just works. And the longer this thing works as intended, the better it is for the environment. Well, that's quite an engine. Probably getting negative 20 mpg right now, but whatever. I just don't understand why people value MPGs and infotainment over longevity. Society just doesn't care about how long something lasts, and that's really important to the environment. Horrible for the environment to just throw a car away every 10 years and start over. And this Raptor is definitely built to last a lot longer than that. Take a Toyota Prius, for example. It's pretty common for those hybrid batteries to fail. They might last 10 years, and then that pretty much junks the car. It totals it because the battery is so expensive. And even if you do replace the battery, it's a pretty big environmental cost as well, but most people, they just throw the car away. With this V8 Ford Raptor, I doubt many owners are inclined to upgrade because they already bought the king of the hill. This is the best of the best, this first generation V8 Ford Raptor. Sadly, the newest version of the Ford Raptor is another victim of Ford's engineering for efficiency and completely failing because it only comes with Ford's twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 engine. You can't get the V8 anymore. And people who bought into those EcoBoost engines early are reporting widespread failures with the turbos and the timing chains, and they are really expensive to repair. CarWizard is starting to see many EcoBoost Fords with failed turbos and other big leaks. It's turning into a big problem, so sadly this is the last eco-friendly Ford Raptor, really the only eco-friendly Ford Raptor because there's only been 2 generations. My Raptor in particular will continue to serve the environment because it will rescue other hoopties, save them from the crusher getting turned into aluminum cans, or maybe helping them become aluminum cans because this thing could drive over a hoopty that's not worth saving. That's a thought. Thank you for watching.